And we are back with another DIY repair video of my 2002 Chevy Silverado 1500 V8 Z71 4x4 with 288,000 miles on it. Now today we're going to be replacing the Purge valve solenoid located right here at the front of the engine. The reason why we're replacing this is because I've been having a lot of hard starts. I already replaced the fuel pressure regulator and that didn't solve any issues. And then recently I got the P0440 check engine light code, and now we're going to replace this purge valve solenoid. And by replacing this actually solved the P0440 code issue, and also now my engine is holding pressure and I'm able to turn the engine over immediately whenever I crank it over. Before I would have to prime the engine twice and then turn the key all the way over for the truck to start. That's no longer an issue. Now let's jump into replacing the purge valve solenoid. So first thing you want to do is always disconnect the battery when you're working with anything that has an electrical connection to it. And then we're going to move on to removing this vacuum line here connected to the purge valve solenoid by squeezing those white parts down at the bottom, and that releases it. And then we want to remove this connector here, and you just pull up on the tab behind it and it'll pull, and then you pull up on it and that'll come right out. And then you're going to need an 8mm socket to remove the 8mm screw or bolt that's holding it down here at the bottom on the base. Now, part of the reason why I think that this purge valve solenoid went out is because of the seal at the bottom. The seal at the bottom allowed it to rock back and forth, allowing air to escape. And I think that was part of the issue. And then also the internals weren't working properly. It was actually staying open, even though it didn't have an electric current to tell it to stay open or to open. So now to remove this, all you do is you pull it up, and you want to keep that little silver or white rubber seal that's on the bottom of it. The new canister will not come with one. So you'll want to take that off by just pulling it off from the bottom and then from the top like that. And whenever you get your new one, you want to go ahead and put it on the same way you took it off and wrap it around the top of it. Now to get this into place, it took me about maybe 15 minutes. I had to lube the seal at the bottom to try to get it to go in. And also behind it, there's a little opening where a tab needs to align itself with for it to go down and into the section where you're installing it. And so I tried really hard for a long time to get that in, and finally, after putting all my weight on there and wiggling it, it finally went all the way in and aligned itself with the tab. I do apologize about the quality of this video. I'm no longer using a GoPro to shoot these videos because as soon as the light gets low, the GoPro just gives you crappy footage. So I'm using my iPhone moving forward. So after many attempts, I finally got it to go in there. The O-ring on the new one is full, and it's really thick, so it's hard for it to go in there. And I compared the tolerance, not the tolerances, but the measurements of both of them, and there is a significant difference in the old one and the new one. So once you get it in there, you want to get your 10mm, I'm sorry, your 8mm bolt or screw back in there. And I'm used to stripping threads, so of course I'm going to go ahead and finger it in first, and then once I figure it out, then I'll get the socket and place a socket on top of it, and then I'll screw it in by hand. So right now I'm going to make sure it's threaded in properly. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the socket, make sure that there isn't too much pressure. I don't want to strip these parts here. Once I am sure that I have it in there and aligned properly, I'll go ahead and get my ratchet and put my ratchet on there and get it all the way in there. And now to install the hose line that we removed earlier, what you'll want to do, well actually we're going to go ahead and connect the electrical first, and that's easy. It just pops right back in. I say it's easy, but as you can see, I'm having some trouble with it. And so that'll go right back in, and that clip will go right back over the little tab, and it'll secure it in there. So using the strength of 10 bears, bam, I finally got it to go in there. and the little tab now, we want to get that, make sure we get that in there and it's locked in tight. Now this here, to get it back in there, you'll want to squeeze the white tabs up at the base, and that'll allow it to slip over and make a secure seal there. So that's how easy it is to get that back on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some notes on everything that's been going on with the truck as far as what this has done for the truck's performance. We got the check engine light, got the P0440 code indicating that there's a vacuum leak, and I had already replaced the fuel pressure regulator prior to replacing this part. So once I replaced this part, I went ahead and cleared the codes, drove the truck. Whenever you clear codes, you're going to need to drive your truck between the quarter mark and the 3/4 full mark on your fuel tank. So that way it'll go through its cycle, and that's one of the things that it needs to do to clear the codes and to check to make sure that there aren't any type of vacuum leaks. Now, after clearing my codes, I realized that I should have not done that, and I should have just let things play out and see if the code would have cleared itself. Now, here are some tips on how to keep the purge valve solenoid going a little bit further for you. Whenever I took the solenoid out to test it, what you do is you actually take it out and you blow through it, and if you're able to get air to go through there, that's an indication that it's staying open. The only time that the solenoid should be open is whenever there's an electric current running through it. So I went ahead and I submerged it in some water, and there was air going through it. So I saw another video where they actually get the solenoid and they tap it, and if you tap it on the correct side, it'll actually make it close. So it'll stay closed until it gets an electric current. So I tapped it on each side. After tapping it on each side, I would blow through it to see if air would go through there. And I was able to tap it on one side where it actually closed it. And whenever I installed it back into the truck turned over immediately. So if your purge valve solenoid is going out and you want to keep using the old one until it completely goes out, pull it out, tap it, and try to blow through it. And as soon as you get the most resistance, then you don't tap it anymore and you stick it back in your truck. All right, guys, I hope this video helped you guys. And if it did, or if you're enjoying this content, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell so that way you know when I upload another video.